Alright, this is the front section, left front wheel of the Honda Element 2010. Just took the strut out. Just want to let y'all guys know a few things. You're going to have to take this steering rod loose. You're going to have to take this ABS wire, unclip it. Be careful because you can break the little plastic clip like I did right there. Extremely brittle, so that just broke on its own. Disconnected the brake line. Once that's done, I disconnected the two bolts at the lower end of the strut. I kept the strut bolted up at the top, that way I didn't have it fall down on me when I disconnected it. The front compared to the back is actually a whole lot easier. I might be coming into something hard pretty soon later on that I'm going to be regretting saying that, but as of right now it is nowhere near as hard as the back was. There's the front strut spacer. As you can see, there's no problems with clearance on the bolt, so just put it right on and tighten it up and shove it back in the truck. Alright, I'm on the driver's side of the Honda Element here. One thing that I might not have told you is I found that you're going to have to remove this sway bar disconnect from the control arm, the lower control arm. Also, I unclipped these on the last one. You can actually just undo a bolt right there and just take the whole bracket off. That way you don't got to worry about that brittle clip breaking like mine did. Another thing, getting this strut in after you put that spacer on it is a pain. It's not really a pain getting it inside the truck. The pain is getting this hole and this hole lined up. This will be pulled out and you got to get it shoved in. I managed to get the bottom hole, the bolt through, but I couldn't get the top part in. I ended up getting a jack and putting it on the lower side of the rotor here and just putting a little weight on the outside of the axle here, the very end, to try to push it up and in. Eventually, I don't know really how it happened, but it kind of just fell into place. It wasn't going into place at all, and then all of a sudden it just fell into place. So once that happened, I went ahead and put the bolt through. Now, another thing is they give you a camber kit for the front. I noticed that the camber kit does not fit very well inside this top hole. From what I read online, you put the camber kit in this bolt right here. Now, I am not a mechanic. I don't know if that's the proper place. I read online you can put it on the lower or the upper end. I tried to place it in the upper side on the driver's side, the left front, and there's a washer. Let's see if I can get it and show it to you. There is a washer that goes on either side, and then that's where you get your camber from, as it rocks back and forth like that and moves the actual top of the I guess it would be an A-arm, I'm not sure what they would call that. It moves it in and out to give you your camber. Now, issue I had with this is these little things right there. They did not want to slide into the holes very well. One of them ended up breaking off. Then the little square end that broke off got stuck inside the whole shaft itself, and it ended up ruining the threading on my driver's side one. For right now, I'm going to go ahead and just throw the bolts, the factory bolts, back in it. I'm going to attempt to reorder another kit and try it again. But I definitely did ruin the other camber bolt when that happened. Just be real careful. It is a pain. I would highly suggest that you get both bolts put back in, the actual stock bolts. Tighten up the bottom one real nice and snug and tight. Slide the top one back out, and then maybe try and put the camber kit in like that. I actually put it in while I had pressure and this wasn't really centered in that hole very well, so that might have been one of the issues why I got it to go through, but that might have been one of the issues why it ended up breaking the pin, because it wasn't aligned in there right. So I feel if you get both bolts in there, you can tighten both bolts, or you can just do the bottom one and then just remove the top one after it's all tightened up, undo the top one, and then slide the camber kit in and then retighten it up. And that should be a lot easier to do. I'm going to try that on this side, but we will see. Alright, in order to get this top bolt in, I got the bottom one in fairly easy. The top bolt does not line up very well, so I'll just get a little small jack, put it up underneath the rotor, jack it up, and it pushes that right in. And it went in a lot easier than the other side did. I had to fight it for a while, and it finally dropped in place for some unknown reason. This one, on the other hand, just lined right up. I have a feeling it's maybe the way the knuckles are inside this CV axle. If the knuckle is not turned, you know, a certain way to where it can swivel up, and the knuckle's this way and it won't really swivel up, then possibly that's the reason why. I'm not sure. Either way, this side went in fairly easy. Alright guys, there's the camber kit installed on the top bolt hole. What I did, like I said before, I put both the factory nuts and bolts right back on, tighten them all back up. Bottom one was nice and tight. I loosened the top one, which is right here. I took it back out while the bottom one was still tight. Kind of held this piece in the center of this hole all kind of centered. Put the camber bolt in there. I noticed my tabs aren't exactly the same spot. I really had a hard time trying to fix that. Main thing is there's these little tabs like I showed you that are inside, that go inside the actual hole of the strut. Same goes for this side. You want these tabs facing forward because of the camber that you want. You're going to want them facing forward. And then turn this nut, and you'll notice this will go out and it'll go in as you're turning that nut. You want it to go in as much as possible. Well, at least for my calculations, if you're adding inches to the top, you're going to pretty much want to go in all the way. This is just, you know, trying to get it as close to, you know, it should be as possible. Like I said before, you're going to have to take it and get it aligned, and they'll put a alignment tool on here and they'll do it all up the way it's supposed to be. But that is it. I'm about to bolt the tires on, and then I'll show a video of the final walk around of the vehicle lifted. Alright guys, I've got the final product done. That is pretty much how much it's going to lift up your element. Now, I've done lifts in the past, suspension lifts and body lifts, but the suspension lifts, they tend to, when you bolt them all up, they tend to, you know, sag back down, you know, a ½ inch or whatnot. I don't really know if these will do that because it was just a spacer, so it should pretty much be where it's at for good. Let's go ahead and get a measurement of the difference here. And I'm going to measure it from the center of the hub, and there's pretty much what you're looking at, 20 inches roughly from the center. Well, 19.5 on the front, in the center hub, and 17.5 on the back. So that is pretty much measuring it from the bottom of the lip to the center of the axle. So that's pretty much it. Got a few more things I got to do. I noticed that the right front lower ball joint is leaking, so that's gonna have to be pulled off. It would have probably been a good idea to do it when I did this, but I'm already running out of time. So thank you very much. Good luck, and I hope this video helps some people that buy this kit off of eBay. The 1.5 rear and 2.5 front lift for Element. I think there's only one kit pretty much. They're all the same exact probably the same exact manufacturer. That is it. Good luck.